Welcome back. I'm Gary Parr.
And I'm Beth Ellicott.
And I'm Jennifer Lopez-Rose.
And I'm Cindy Baldwin.
And you're listening to the midweek version of Fiber Talk, the twice-weekly podcast for needlework artists. Yes, we're all here. It's the last midweek show of 2022, and so we've all gotten together to just talk about all that's happened to us in needlework this year, because why not? Yeah.
Right.
Few scheduling things tonight. 8 o'clock Eastern Time, we'll have our last stitch hour of the year, and Natalie Dupuis will join us. We'll get to look at her whips and hear about her trip to Scotland and teaching over there. So join us at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on the YouTube channel. Sunday is Sharon Wells, and you don't want to miss that one. Felting, needle felting, dyeing fleece, collecting fleece, getting it ready for dyeing, the whole shooting match. She was fantastic, so don't miss that. And then Sunday will be our last podcast until January 8th. So we're going to take a break after Sunday until January 8th, and then we'll be back with a podcast and then back to be a different schedule. But then an exception to that on January 1, which is Jennifer's birthday, 2 o'clock Eastern Time on YouTube, we're going to gather just to stitch and have some fun for an hour or so. So join us then, 2 o'clock, and it's a big birthday for Jennifer, so she'll have her tiara on. So it'll be,
yes.
Yeah. Make sure you find that, Jennifer, and clean it off, polish it up. Yeah.
Dust it off. No, how do you know I haven't been wearing it like every weekend,
Just on the weekends?
Well, maybe other times too.
We got to get you
some
help.
You have to switch between the tiara and the halo,
We got to get you some help. Yeah. Okay, and then just a reminder now, we're going to change the schedule starting in January. So the midweek chats, this show, the audio podcast on Wednesdays, we'll be doing those on the first and third Wednesdays, and then we'll have our stitch hours on the second and fourth Wednesdays. So there will be 2 shows a week, the Sunday show and then either a midweek chat or a stitch hour. So on Wednesday, there will not be any more the podcast and the stitch hour. There'll be one or the other. And just doing that to free up some time. And we'll keep reminding people. Best way is to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get notified when the midweek or the stitch hours are happening. And then obviously the best way for the podcast is to subscribe through one of your podcast apps, and then you don't have to worry about that. But changing that up a little bit, getting down to 2 shows a week, and that frees up some time to breathe and to maybe come up with some other ideas. There's some ideas floating around, so.
Yes.
All right, so what we're going to do this week is we just got a whole bunch of things. Everybody's had experiences through the year with needlework in all manners, and we all do different things at different times. So we're just going to talk about that, things that we enjoyed, learned, maybe didn't enjoy, but we're just going to talk about that. But right out of the gate, don't have to, and more than glad to recognize and thank our sponsors. Because without our sponsors all year long, we just simply wouldn't be able to do this, because the cost just wouldn't be it ain't coming out of the pocket.
Right.
So a huge thank you to EGA, Avlia Folk Embroidery, Cyber Pointers, Needle in a Haystack, and then an extra huge thank you to Kim at Sassy Jack Stitchery. Sassy Jack Stitchery has been sponsoring 2 shows a month for years now. Kim has just been with us for so long, so thanks so much. But thanks to all those sponsors, Sassy Jacks, EGA, Avlia, join EGA. Join EGA. Cyber Pointers, join Cyber Pointers.
That's ANG.
ANG, Cyber Pointers, Needle in a Haystack, Avlia. Support these people, because they are what make all this possible. So thanks to all of them for continued support, and as far as I know, everybody back with us next year, so that'll be good. So we appreciate that. All right. We've been, I sent you guys all of you guys, a list of all the guests we've had this year. Holy smokes, that was a trip down memory lane. I just going through that. Wow.
Yeah. I didn't realize we had spoken. I was like, that was this year we spoke to her. And it's like, I was just shocked. All the people we talked to, all the different people.
Yeah. So, all right. So my curiosity then is, what were your favorite ones? Because I have, can't pick one. Got to be more than one.
No.
So all right. So Beth, what was your favorite?
My favorite, I think, was Marie Renee Otis. I still think about our discussion with her and the art she was doing with beads and adding things to pieces. I went and looked back recently at my notes at the things she told us, and it just got my mind spinning all over again and looking at images of her work. She just does such beautiful work. I was just, she was my favorite. If I had to pick one.
All right. Jennifer, what was your favorite?
I really liked the David McCaskill. He was funny, and his whole story and all the different things he did, and he was really good. And then the Natalia Frank with the miniatures for the dollhouses.
She was.
I really liked those. I've always liked all those little miniatures, and I've done some small like knitting and stuff, but that tiny, that's very fiddly, and I admire it because it's hard. Really hard.
Yep. All right, Cindy, did you have what was your favorite?
So I couldn't pick one.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah. I've got three. Hillary Waters Fail, the embroidery on the leaves. I've been following her for a long, long time, and that just fascinates me, the work that she does. Hanny Newton, her gold work is so unusual. It's so different from everybody else's. And I really enjoyed following her too after listening to her. I didn't know about her before we talked to her. And the other one was Wild Boho. Who was that?
Nicole Vogelsinger. Yeah.
That's it. I've been following her on Instagram and looking at what she's doing. I just really love looking at her work. It's so complicated, and it's really simple stitches, but she puts so much in there on every piece that she does.
Yeah.
And she's been doing some things that were a little different. She decorated some those little what they're called, the tote bags, zipper bags.
The Yazi.
Yes.
Okay. Now, see, you guys, that's interesting. Now, the only one that I had was Hillary Waters Fail, that leaf embroidery, and just the process of doing that, it still sticks with me. And that was back in January, and that one still sticks in my mind.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really cool. The one, I had half dozen here because I couldn't decide, but the one that stands out for me was Leslie Rinchin Wangmo and the Tonkas.
That was on my list too.
Was it?
Because because she was just fascinating to talk to. But
yeah, that whole story, the Threads of Awakening, her book, but the whole story and how she got involved, and then being able to see those Tonkas at the Quilt Museum, see them live. What amazing needlework that is. And, it's not cross stitch, it's not needlepoint, it's not embroidery. It's its whole own world. But that one I think sticks out for me the most of all these. And then the other one I would put on the board is Michael Cook and the Silkworms.
That one too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one was good too.
Yeah.
And he has the best website, Wormspit.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, best URL, best domain name of all time, Wormspit. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. You just got to go look because of that name. I mean, how can you not?
Yeah. But yeah, so those for me, so many good ones though. It was so much fun just going through it because another one that stuck out, Michelle named Morgan, and all she went through and the mental health things, and how many people did we talk to where mental health played a role in terms of either helping people or it helped them.
Right.
So many people. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely helps keep your hands busy.
Yeah. And then
Get
I
your
was
mind off stuff.
yeah, and then going through this, then there were a couple of education things. The Diana Snyder teaching our youth stitching, that program. I really hope she can get that going. And then the ladies in Kentucky, needlework for disobedient women, which is another great name.
That one is really good too. I like what they're doing with that program.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that was something that stuck out for me this year is the number of people that we've learned about that are helping others using needlework. I mean, there's just an awful lot of that going on, and it's Sunday, Orna Willis. Now that's another whole story coming up Sunday, or just this past Sunday with Orna Willis. That whole suicide and mental health thing there. Time and again, we're finding needlework playing a role in helping people with just calm down and get their heads wrapped around things. Yeah.
I guess that's why they use craft. You know how it was the joke for a long time that you'd go to the hospital and you'd have to do basket weaving or something.
Mm-hmm.
And remember how it's been a long time since it's been a joke because now it's real. It's like, it really does help. So it's not a joke anymore. It's seriously helpful.
Yeah.
Right.
And people aren't joking about mental health anymore. They're taking it seriously. But it used to be, oh, did you do basket weaving?
Right.
Like,
right.
what, 15, 20 years ago? It's been a while, but I remember that being like a joke thing.
Yeah.
The other thing that surprised me is that I think Orna is the only person that we've talked to before for this year.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
Wow.
So, it constantly amazes me how many different people we find that are doing needlework.
Yeah.
Well, Ilka, you talked to Ilka before, so but
and
that's
Jessica Grimm.
Oh, right.
There's been a couple, but not.
Yeah, you're right.
Not as many repeats as in the past.
No,
there was a lot of new people this year.
And and that's the thing when we first started this, now coming up on 6 years ago, that was the concern. Would we run out of guests? No,
not yet.
Not yet. And the ones that are recorded coming up, they're all new ones. There's no repeats there. No, there's just so many people around the world doing needlework, and I so wish I could get past the language barriers in so many places. Oh boy, there's so many people that I've contacted one the other day that I follow on Instagram, and she said I'd do it, but she said I just know the language would be a problem, and if I were multilingual, it would really help.
Yeah, right.
Well, they just need a translator friend because you've done that before.
Yeah,
You've had a translator friend, and that went okay. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, well, thank you. It was a pain in the butt.
Oh, well, I thought it was fine. I mean, that's how
it came across well, but I'm sure it was difficult.
Oh, yeah, that was very difficult. Yeah. So, yeah, just so many of them, and yeah, even though Cindy, there were 2 or 3 repeats, your message is correct. Just so many new ones, and just exploring, and there's several now in Australia coming up that I'm hoping to get, because that's an area where we didn't do much this year, and coming up some there.
We've talked to Allison Cole before, right? Too, right?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's always good.
Yeah. That's coming up now. Well, cause she's got that new casket. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually.
Tried that yet, Beth?
No, I have not. I've refrained from getting the new casket. Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
But now Allison and her husband, she's in the middle of an extended teaching session. But once she gets clear of that, we're going to do a video show with those caskets with Allison and her husband.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we'll have a video show. It's not going to be a live show. It's just going to be a recorded one. But so we'll get to hear from her husband about designing the actual caskets. And I'm pretty sure that that'll be enough temptation to get Beth over the edge. Yeah.
Oh, that's not. Oh, thanks, guys.
Or at least start the one that you've got already,
Right.
Oh,
Just do
that's
the
already on
cross stitch part.
I don't think it's got cross stitch on
No,
it.
the stitching part, whatever part.
Well, it's on my list.
Okay.
Of things for next year to start, and thought I would start it in January, but it looks like that's not going to happen. But I'm looking at tracing it onto the fabric this
There you
month.
go.
So I'm starting it. It is being started. I can't take it anymore.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, that's a big box of threads and everything else. Yeah. It's
Right.
yeah.
Yes.
And then going through this list, we had Leslie Wangmo's Threads of Awakening, but then in terms of books, we also had Claire Hunter's Embroidering Her Truth. That was
Yes.
Oh yeah, she was excellent, and all about learning so much about Mary Queen of Scots and how important velvet and silk was and telling stories, and it conveyed so much more than I realized to those around you. Just the fabric. I thought the whole book was interesting, and her interview was fascinating.
yeah. The politics, Mary Queen of Scots. What a life of just politics and power plays and yeah. Yeah, that had to be very difficult. But then it got me looking at, all right, what new books did we encounter this year? Because several people published books. So I wondered if if you guys had come up with any books that you bought that stood out for you. None.
No, I mean,
No,
I bought a couple quilting books, but that's not what we're talking about. So.
Well, I think I've got the new RSN White Workbook
Yes.
that just came out, and
Yes.
it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the pincushion book from Inspirations Magazine.
See, those were both on my list. Yes.
Both on mine too. Yep.
Uh-huh.
I just took out the pincushion book because we were talking in my embroidery guild about these needlework that you make into boxes or make into things. And we were looking, I think the figs in that one and the pincushion.
Yes.
Yes. And so we were discussing that. And so we were looking through it, and it is just such a beautiful book. And all of Inspiration's books are beautiful, but that was just so much fun. And I was watching a friend who didn't have it look through the images of it. And she was just like, oh, and look at this one. And, oh, isn't this lovely? And I'm like, oh, yes.
I'm really looking forward to whatever they issue next in that series.
Oh,
Yeah,
me
because
too.
that was the first one, right? The Design Collective, wasn't that? That was the first one in the series, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they're unfair. They're really unfair because you can't not buy their stuff.
Right.
It's just so beautifully done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can, but then you kick yourself for not doing.
I know, because there was another one I was looking on their site and it was sold out. It's like, oh, why didn't I buy that? Yeah. So yeah, those were the two I had: Jenny Aiden Christie's RSN white work, and the pin cushions. Yeah, those two. Yep, good stuff. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I was thinking about in all of our guests, or I was thinking about discoveries, things that we discovered, or at least that I discovered, or we all did together, didn't know about before. And one thing that for me was Debbie Hodge Stitched Stories, her embroidery kits.
Yes.
That one was a discovery. I didn't know that she existed till we did the show with her. And then I've actually, when I went to Arizona, took the kit that I bought from her and with me. I never got to it, but it's just a tremendous marketing and packaging program she has going, where you get the little tin with everything you need for the little embroidery designs, and they're very approachable designs for someone who wants to try embroidery. And for me, that was a discovery that just simply didn't know she existed. Yeah.
And those kits are really nice. I would think they'd be fun for teaching kids too, because they're kind of it's printed on there in color, so that you can the kids can. It's easy to match the color to the floss, which is also nice. Yeah, they're a nice little kit.
Yeah. Yeah. So that one for me, and then I look at designs that came out, and I went through stuff that was new this year, and I was surprised that the two that, for me, well, one is a series, and that's the Rosewood Manor, Spring Hill, Summer Hill, Autumn, that series. But both of them were cross stitch, and the other one is not out yet, or is just out, and that's Avlia's Sea of Light. And I thought I would have a needlepoint or counted canvas one that was new this year, but I didn't, because the ones all came out 2021 or 2020 that I have, sitting out to work on. And but yeah, those two were for me both cross stitched, the Hill designs from Karen Kluba and Avilia's Sea of Light. I'm pumped up about that one. Yeah. So
the only place that I'm really seeing new canvas stuff is at the guilds, at the the national seminars.
Oh.
And that's because I don't have a shop to go to. So, I don't know. Debbie at Raleigh is doing some new designs, her little monthly ones. But I don't think she's done a new retail type release for quite a while that was a larger piece.
No.
But she's doing pieces for the guilds. So, here's another good reason to belong to the guilds, because I think that's where we're going to see the majority of the new designs from some of these canvas teachers and other teachers too, other designers, especially when you don't have a shop near you.
Yeah, but that's really becoming a thing, particularly counted canvas, but with people in general, is they're designing for the EGA annual seminar, the ANG, and they're designing for their teaching efforts. And I know counted canvas, we're not seeing very much at all, at least that I'm aware of, that's going into retail, straight to retail. It's all through classes or through seminars. Yeah, you're right.
There's a little bit. Ada Hayden had some things along with her painted canvas that were counted.
Yeah.
And I thought of somebody else, and now the name has escaped me.
Well, Orna Willis is.
Yeah, Orna.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The needlepoint.
Kathy Reese.
Yes.
Oh, I can't think of her name.
I never can remember the name of her business, but she puts out new projects, new patterns on a fairly regular basis. And I'm on her mail list, so I do see those.
I need to get on her list. I'm not on her list. But see, that's
I'm
the
not
thing
either,
is you gotta go, because the stores aren't always available to us. You have to get on these lists, these mailing lists, to stay up on these things. And because you don't have a store, Cindy, and I have 2 painted canvas stores, but that doesn't help me with charted, and certainly doesn't help with cross stitch or embroidery or anything like that. So sometimes I think I'm in the same boat with the rest of you, in that there just isn't a store nearby that I can run over to.
So
yeah.
Jennifer, do you have a store near you?
We have Thistle Needleworks up in Wethersfield, Connecticut, but they'll get some of the new cross stitch, the most popular stuff, but they've kind of downsized their cross stitch, but they're huge in painted canvas and threads galore, and they carry lots of canvases, like blank
Right.
canvases, all colors and shapes and sizes, and a lot of the tools and stuff. But and they have a lot of older cross stitch kits, or not kits, but patterns, because they had bought other places that have closed. They had bought their stuff, their supplies,
Yeah.
and so they have lots of old stuff that they have, and they do get some new stuff, but not like some of the other more dedicated cross stitch short stores. But you can always order from them. They can always get it for you.
Yeah.
And then
that's nice.
they have all the flosses and stuff.
So I think they're associated with Alex Paris
Yeah,
Needlework.
that's their website. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on their mailing list also.
Okay.
And they do every month they have a different charity that they support.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, if you purchase certain designated things through Alex Paris.
Right.
So I look at those, and they seem to have older counted canvas charts,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't really explored their full website to see if they have anything new. And that's Paras, Alex Paris.
Yeah, it's on there. If you go to the Thistle Needleworks, if you want to do the shopping, there's a link there. I guess that was the name of the website way back when they first started the business, or they bought the website from someone and they never changed it.
Oh.
Because they're like, oh, our customers know it as this, so we're leaving it as this. Because I had, I know some people who work there, and I was like, why is their website where you want to buy called Alex Paris? And they said that's why.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's Thistle, it's just they didn't change the website name for whatever reason.
Right.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, you really, we're at a point. It's interesting. We're at a point where you have to get on these mailing lists, because the stores can't. I mean, some stores have newsletters for, the Attic has a newsletter, so you get what they have new. You definitely join Sassy Jack's Facebook page to get what Kim has new. But you really have to follow the designers to see what they're introducing.
Yeah.
To stay on top of it, and that's a lot it's a lot of emails.
I know
what that is.
The 911 stitcher, Stacy Alexander, she usually posts like, here's what's new from everybody.
Oh.
She usually does that. That's like one of her things that she does.
Mm-hmm.
And you can either watch her or follow her on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah.
But I know that she likes to this is what's new from this person, that, and she tends to show everybody's new stuff. Except for canvas work. She, it's all cross stitch.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. Yeah, you gotta, if you're interested in multiple techniques, that's just that many more that you need to follow to stay on top of what's new.
Right. Are there any floss tubers who are counted canvas, or needle point floss tubers? I don't know if I've ever come across one. Have you guys?
I've never looked.
I've looked and I have not found any. Not really, not dedicated.
Yeah, that's mostly cross stitch.
Right.
And maybe they'll like, oh, and I do this too once in a while. But that's interesting that I just realized that I hadn't seen.
Well, it is a cross stitch community. I mean, that's where it was built on. So.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's changing times. We're I don't know how it'll all sort out 5 years from now, but and for cross stitch, mainly cross stitch, we have the Nashville market that'll be back next year, so that'll be good. That's a good central place to learn cross stitch designs. But the others, it's tough. Conic canvas, I mean, it's tough to find the other ones. And stay on top of what's new.
Isn't there a needlepoint market later in the year, in the fall or late summer?
Yeah, I guess there is.
But you don't hear as much about that.
No, it doesn't get publicized much at all. No. And I don't know why, but yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because I was thinking the same thing. Because you asked kind of what have been something new that you've really liked, and again, Rosewood Manor designs come up, but I don't remember seeing like one counted canvas piece that I was like, yeah, I've got for 2022 that just really grabbed me and that I just fell in love with, and it just doesn't seem like I'm seeing it as much. Now, we do have a new needlework store, Cindy and I do, the Be Stitched Me, which has been nice, but she does mainly cross stitch. She has beautiful threads. Her silks and all are gorgeous. But it's tough. There's nothing out there. So you really have to search for it yourself. I think there's no other way.
Yeah. And I this year too, I kind of focused on not shopping. So if I have it set in my mind that I'm going to work on what I already have at home, I tend to not look or block out. Like, I'm not paying attention to that. Don't look at it. Don't look. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
I need to do
Jennifer,
that.
we're supposed to be enabling.
No, I know, but I've been enabled so much that, I've got it bursting out everywhere.
I know, that's the problem. Enabling other people enables me too.
Yeah. So it's like I've tried to be like, I don't know. If I'm really focused on all the new stuff, then I tend to buy.
Yeah, it's a special kind of self-control to enable others and not get sucked in. Yeah, that's
Yes.
That's real discipline.
I did pretty good.
Yep. I'll tell you one thing, as I was getting ready for this, that I'd forgotten about that came out this year is 18 count perforated paper.
Oh.
I didn't even know.
Yep, Mill Hill. You can get 18 count perforated paper. And
you have it?
I have it. It's white.
Really?
It's very nice.
Now, you know what I've seen? I don't remember who it is on Instagram, but they are taking their perforated paper and they're doing a lot of perforated paper stitching, and they're taking and they're stamping it with like a paper stamp dye stuff to color the paper themselves to the color they want, and then letting it dry and then stitching on it.
Right.
Yep. I don't remember who. It's somebody that I follow on Instagram.
Well, that makes sense because, if you use, as long as you're using something like that's archival, you don't want something that will move if your hands get even slightly damp. But there's stuff that won't. That's permanent. Wow, that would be great because then you could really do any color you want. And Mill Hill has beautiful color perforated paper in their kits.
Right.
So that would be fun if you got the white and then you did your own color on it. 18 count. Do their beads fit on it? That's my question.
Okay. It's the K Goldman 63 on Instagram. Sorry if you don't want to be called out, but they're public. And she's been doing a lot of that 18 count perforated paper that she uses, that she's been dyeing with either RIT dye or stamping stuff, her own colors. And she's been doing a lot of perforated paper this year.
Very cool.
Yeah. I had a feeling it was her, but I didn't want to.
Yeah, that's an area worth exploring, perforated paper, especially if you can get 18 count, because you can do so much more because of the smaller, the higher count. Yeah.
We've been doing a fair amount on perforated paper this year in our face-to-face chapter. Little ornaments, the 3-dimensional ornaments that I did last year, and a bunch of other ones this year. We've done a couple of flat ones. They make great bookmarks for pattern darning.
Oh.
And it's super easy on the 14 count. You use number 5 pearl cotton and just, cut it into pieces that are longer than your piece of perforated paper. Do your darning stitch, whatever it is on it, and then all you have to do is knot the ends and trim them off, and you get a nice little fringe. And so you're not. That's how you secure the threads. You're using one strand for each row of stitching, with a knot at either end. So they're reversible. On one side, you see like a flower, and on the other side, you see the reverse of the flower.
Oh, interesting.
Very neat. Yeah, very neat idea.
Yep.
And a nice way to finish too. That's the other thing, that you don't have to put something on the back of it to hide your stitching.
Right. And if you need a quick little gift for, a kid or something, you can do geometric patterns, but I've seen designs for flowers and not anything new. These are all fairly old pattern books, although Susan Jones, I think that's Finger Step Designs, but don't quote me on that. She does some pattern darning periodically, and she has a book. She came out with a book that's full of pattern designing patterns about, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago. So there's, lots of opportunities with pattern darning for something that's, if you need a quick little gift.
Yeah. Well, those little ornaments you did on perforated paper, I mean, those are fantastic. They really worked out great. But yeah, I think perforated paper needs to be explored more. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I don't have, everything I've done is on 14 count, and I don't think the 18 count would work for those 3-dimensional ornaments, because those are stitched with flat ribbon, like neon rays or something like that. And I think 18 count would be too small.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Well, there we go. And we keep, the thing I keep hearing is how valuable it is to be a member of an organization, so that you have interaction, EGA, ANG, whatever. Pick up these ideas and get the exchanges. Yeah.
Right. Learn new things.
Yep. One thing that I was really proud of from the Fiber Talk perspective was the box of threads that everyone contributed that we sent to Madagascar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was
that was a huge box.
Yeah. That day I dropped that off at the post office. I have to say I felt pretty good about what everybody in the Fiber Talk audience did. And I mean, that was 25 pounds of thread.
That's a lot of thread.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I wonder how many skeins that was.
How much what?
How many skeins?
Oh, I have no idea. I just quit. I just piled them up and threw them in the box. I don't know.
You didn't stop and count them, I guess. So.
But I did have to get a contractor size plastic bag to put them in so they wouldn't get wet, if they.
Oh, uh-huh.
But yeah, so yeah, the regular kitchen bags weren't big enough. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, that's a lot of thread, and I kind of had to push to get it in the box too. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
But you know, how cool is that to
Wow.
help people in Madagascar who are trying to scratch out a living doing needlework, and we were able to send them so much. It was just great.
Yes.
You know, and then then they have to, as people go from England to Madagascar to support that program, you know, they have to haul a suitcase, put that in their suitcase to make sure it gets there, gets to the ladies. And so all that thread, I assume it's all made its way to Madagascar by now, but who knows? It may still be, they may still be working through the pile. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a ton.
Yeah, but that was just really cool that we, and, you know, people kept sending stuff. It was just really great that we were able to do that. So, yeah, it was a real plus. Did you guys have like a highlight, I guess it would be, in your needlework during the year, something that stands out that, wow, I'm really glad I did that, or that was a real accomplishment?
That class I took with Hazel Bloomkamp.
Oh, like that.
I don't know when I'll finish the piece because I have a lot of practicing to do to be able to do it well. But she's a delight. It was a really great class.
Yeah. Now,
nice.
that piece, if you have a lot of practice to do, then with all your years of needlework, clearly a challenging piece then.
Well, it's surface embroidery, and I haven't done much surface embroidery for decades.
Oh. Yeah, I've got a couple of her books that I want to do them. And she has good step-by-step instructions. I just haven't gotten it all out because you have to gather all the different colors, and I haven't done that.
Yeah, and the what I need to practice is the detached buttonhole.
Oh, yes.
Because she uses that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, you would think I was stressed to the max if you looked at it because it's really, really tight. After about 3 rows, I couldn't find the hole to put my needle in for the next row.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I've made a couple of attempts at that, and I can't get loose enough. Yeah. So.
I've not tried that yet, so.
I've done it before, but again, it's been a long, long time. And that's something that, you know, I'm not going to be able to just work on it a little bit and then switch over to the piece and, you know, kind of put it down and come back to it, you know, several weeks later. I'm going to have to concentrate on it and practice the detached buttonhole enough so that I can do it passably and then get it done on the piece.
Yeah.
And then move on to the other parts. And I learned some new stitches. Again, they're surface embroidery stitches, and I'll need to practice them a little bit, but it's that detached buttonhole that is going to require the most work.
Did you have something, Jennifer, that stands out for you that you accomplished?
Well, I actually.
I mean, you did a lot of stuff.
I did. Like, I did the hockey piece for Fisher, and I actually started it and got it done before his birthday and everything, which is like a big deal. How many times do you start gifts and it just never gets done? And you're like, well, maybe next year, you know?
Right.
But, and I did get a lot of stuff done that I have. Now, I haven't started my very last cottage, the December one. Mm-hmm. I need to start that, but I've been working on other stuff, and then we're out of town. I've also not felt good and been headachy. And
yeah, but you taught us a lot about tamari. We learned
I did a lot of tamari, and I even taught the tamari to my mom and my aunts and cousins, and that was fun.
Yep,
that was fun. I learned that teaching it's hard. It's you know, you think it's easy. You just show people what to do, but it takes a lot out of you. You've got to be positive, not get frustrated, and you know, it's
right.
And then you're like, okay, you guys just stitch. I need a break. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
teaching's
that's
draining.
teaching it in a nutshell, right?
uh-huh. Yeah, it was fun though. It was really fun. And I don't know if any of them have finished it. I keep forgetting to ask.
Yeah. What about
You
you,
two
Beth?
worry balls.
What'd you accomplish? Because you finished some things.
Yeah, I did. The thing I'm most proud of is finishing More Than a Rose, which is an EGA group correspondence class, and it was finally getting over the fear of using. It was called Gilt Silk Twist, which is a very expensive thread, and I was like, oh, I don't know, and I finally just did it, and it was so much fun. That's what's making me want to do my casket, because you use a lot of those threads in the casket. So now I'm like, okay, I can use this fiber. I know how to do it. So I'm looking forward to it. And there's a lot of needle weaving, which is the detached buttonhole, like Cindy was talking about. And it does take a little bit of practice. And I think that's the other thing I learned. A group of us are working on the 17th century whitework sampler. And we're like, oh, we don't have time to do a doodle cloth. We're not going to bother doing a doodle cloth. And then one gal took the time to do a doodle cloth. And she's starting to work on the real whitework part. And it's Deb DeCrane. And it's just beautiful what she's done. And I'm like, okay, yeah, now I feel guilty. I'm going to have to do a little practice. I'll probably just do it on the side of my sampler. But I think practicing, that's the other thing I think I learned is that, sometimes I just jump in with both feet. I'm like, we'll just do it. Well, that's the worst that could happen, Well, sometimes you just need to do a little practice on these things.
Sometimes you get the answer to that question. Yeah.
yeah. What's the worst could happen? Well, this is trash now, but you learn something, and that's the important thing. I think there's, and it is just needle and thread.
Right.
That's the worst that happens is you either have to. The worst thing is you'd have to start all over again. You have to start from ground zero, maybe. But most of the time, it's just unpicking something and taking out and trying again. So, yeah. But
what's the worst that could happen? This.
I cut a hole in my fabric. That is the worst that can happen.
That can be repaired.
Yeah.
And it can be, except if it totally is falling off, and then it can't be repaired, and you got to start over again. It's all right though. It's okay. It happens. You learn. I've learned. I mean, how else are you going to learn unless you make mistakes?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's something from the people we talked to. That was something we heard over and over again. You're not going to learn unless you try. You're not going to get better unless you practice. I think those things came up many times in our conversations with the people we had interviews with. And I think that's how they got better at their art, is that they took the time to practice. They took the time to allow something to be ugly and let it move forward. All those things. So,
Good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
So did you learn something, Gary, or something you're really proud of?
I was thinking about that mainly because I asked the question on the sheet of things to talk about. And, I just concluded that I learned frustration at not having time to stitch. And just here in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I have been making a concerted effort to sit down and stitch, and discovering that I need to keep making that concerted effort because it's just, we all know it's enjoyable. And I just get so bogged down in, of course, got the job but also, all the time doing Fiber Talk stuff. And I just need to carve out that time. And I've really we talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. And just in the last 2 or 3 weeks here, I've just consciously said, all this other stuff gets shoved aside and I'm going to stitch. And, watching football and just stitching, and so I think I think I'm starting to have a little breakthrough. So that all the way through the year here, but a little breakthrough in that I just need to force the issue, because on the other side is just enjoyment. And so that's I guess what I've taken out of it. I mean, every time I walk out of my studio is Hannah Longstreth hanging right there on the wall, and I'm really proud of that. I mean, that got framed up, and that's just I'm really proud of that one. And so now I just got to get more of those. I got to get all these things sitting around here, some of them finished, so that they can go on a wall. And so yeah, for me, it's kind of been I don't know if emergent is the right word, but just come out of a fog of just bogged down in work and not, and
you just moved too.
Yeah, there's
so,
that. Yeah.
And the grandkids.
Yeah, which is why you moved. So
right.
You want, you're like, I want to spend more time, which means that time's added on to the fiber talk, the job, the everything else.
Yeah, and that you're right. I mean, this has been our first full year here in the St. Louis area, and there's been a lot of grandkid stuff, but that's why we moved here, and it's just been great fun. They stayed overnight the other night, and we made gingerbread houses, and it's just great fun, and it's a mess. It's a mess, but it's fun.
How was the concert?
Well, Cooper's concert was terrific. That was an interesting thing, because it was the kids, of course, sang Christmas songs, but there's like 6 kids who had just started piano, and I bet it hasn't been 6 or 7 weeks. And I thought, what are they going to do? Well, the teacher said, we're not going to play songs, but we want you to see, this is really a demonstration. We want you to see how we go about it. And they have these little fold-up keyboards that have this tiny little speaker that obviously they can hear, but we couldn't hear very well in the audience. But it was just really neat, because it gave the kids a chance to show how they go about their work. So they only did it for about 10 minutes. And she just had them play little ditties. And so that was really neat, because I wondered, these kids don't know songs, and there's no way they can all play together. Not a chance. But no, it was the other way. It was, here's how we're learning, and here's how we're going about it. So that was
that's cool.
Yeah, that was very
That'll
cool.
Get more parents putting more kids in piano. And...
Yep. Yeah, so that I applauded the teacher for that. That was, and of course the kids were nervous as cats.
Yeah.
But because the place was packed, and
right.
But so it was just a really neat thing. And then she had one girl who was in 3rd grade, who through the pandemic had been working on piano. She started in this beginner program, and now which is kindergarten, 1st grade, and then now is in 3rd grade. So she played a couple songs, so that was pretty neat to see that. But there was a thing when the teacher was talking about this. She stressed time and time again about how they talk about it's okay to make mistakes. And my mind went right back to what we've talked about 1,000 times with needlework. It's okay. And you could tell that she drilled that into the kids. Just relax, do the best you can. And so that was a neat thing. It was very good. But
cool.
Yeah. So, but no, you're right. Yeah, it's been a real life change for Margaret and me both, and this year has been the first full year of that, and rewarding on several fronts. But yeah, just here in the last few weeks, I've really focused on, okay, 10 minutes are here. Let's sit down and at least put a few stitches in, and so I feel good about it. Yeah.
Nice.
I hope so. Yep.
That's good.
All right, we're going to run out of time. Always going to run out of time. Let's go around the horn here. Who's what are we doing next year? You got any specific plans, Cindy, or just keep plowing into what you're doing?
I'm pounding away at the pumpkins.
I was going to say, is it more pumpkin? Yeah.
Yeah. So I have 4 done out of the 17. They are done and finished.
Oh, all right.
And I don't think it's going to be next year. I think it'll be the year after. All of them are started except for one, and that one will be started as soon as I get some other stuff done. This month. And I have signed up for way too many classes through Cyber Pointers.
Oh, no.
Yes.
So I'm going to take Debbie Rowley's Mermaid's Tale.
Oh.
The one that you guys saw at EGA.
Yeah.
In Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I signed up for that one.
Okay, but are you doing the chair? Are you doing the chair? That's what I want to know.
I am not doing the chair.
Okay.
I have 3 Sue Reed projects going.
Go, Cindy, go.
And we haven't really announced this or anything, but our Cyber Pointers board is going to make a real concerted effort to do the projects and the meeting projects and workshops and show our work so that people know that we are doing the projects too.
Oh.
Mm.
So, instead of just downloading everything and adding it to the someday pile.
Mm-hmm.
There's a term, the someday pile. That's what we need, the someday pile.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our January program is Design Your Own Scissor Case, and I will be doing that along with a couple of other of our board members. And so we're gonna make a real effort to engage with our members and to post pictures of what we're doing as we're doing it, to try to get other people to, because I'm sure people are doing the projects.
Yep.
But I'm sure a lot more are adding it to their someday pile.
Mm-hmm.
So we just want to try to encourage people to work along with us. We'll see how that works.
Well, I have to say, when I read recorded the promo for Cyber Pointers, who sponsored last Sunday's show with Orna Willis, you guys are really active, and it was going too long because I was going to just make my own personal comment about, if you want to learn needlepoint, and some people, the local chapter monthly meetings and those kinds of things don't work out. Cyber Pointers is a real great opportunity, and you guys always have something going on. It's quite impressive.
We have 6 meeting programs a year, every other month, and then we're doing 4 or 5 or 6 workshops next year. 4 for sure. There might be a couple more in there. And we're already working on 2024 for programs and workshops. So, this is why, I say that there are designers out there that are coming up with new things. Lorraine Salt is going to be doing one of our meeting programs this year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a workshop. I can't remember off the top of my head. But, there's a lot of interesting things. We've got somebody who's going to do a Rosashi piece for a meeting program. I think you talked to somebody about Rosashi.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Margaret Kinsey?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
And her daughter too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. So we have a Rosashi piece coming up, I think, in the middle of the year, which is a Japanese technique on a special kind of silk gauze.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting projects coming up, and some of them are bigger. The workshop projects are bigger. The meeting programs are smaller projects. Sometimes you can do it right out of your stash. You have a stash like Beth and I do.
Yes.
Yep.
Poor Gary.
Yeah, all of us. Yeah. No, it's very cool. Yeah, if people are interested in trying these things, join Cyber Pointers. It's very active, and well, you guys are growing too, membership wise. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, we have over 650 members now.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a community right there. All right, Jennifer,
Yeah.
what's your plan?
10% of the total membership.
Yeah. What is that? How much?
Over 10%.
Of the total
Of the total
A&G membership?
Yep.
Wow. Wow. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Jennifer, what's on the horizon for you?
Well, I'm going to start the what's it called? It's right here. A Perfect World by the Scarlet House. Because I want that on the wall. And I think I'm going to switch the background fabric to this blue. Because I can't find the fabric. The fabric that is in the pictures is kind of browny with a peachy. And I can't quite find the right color fabric. So I got this blue that I think cornflower from Fiber on a Whim. I think I'm going to use the blue. Instead of this other one I got's kind of green. And there's a lot of green trees and stuff. I don't know. So I think I'm going to change the background color. And then I'm going to do it.
Stitch Me and see if they have something that would work for you.
What?
The new shop in Moline, Be Stitch Me.
Oh, yeah, I might. I don't know. I got this blue. I like it. So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I think I'm going to use that. And then I'm going to do the Fat Quarter Shop has this temperature cross stitch chart that's a big heart. And the little temperature things for each day is just a little plus. So it's like, 5 stitches? Because I've tried doing the temperature thing before, but it had way too many involved stitches, and I got behind, and then I got way too far behind, and then it was just over. So I'm gonna just 5 little stitches, just a little plus, I can do it. I can do it every day. And then I want to do, remember my Paula Vaughn, the Quilts for All Seasons?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have through August stitch, so I just need to stitch September, October, November, December. So I want to start the next one, the September, and then also work on another one of my roses, those fancy roses from Veronique Engineer.
Oh,
whatever,
Oh,
the French lady.
Yep.
So that's new start stuff, and then just work on the stuff I've already got started.
All right.
But that's kind of what I'm thinking. And then I need to finish. Like, I have this big basket full of stuff that's stitched that needs fully finished.
Oh, yes.
I've got to go down to the basement, clean up the little area, and get it going on.
One of these days, we're going to line up all the needle workers in the world and listen to all of them say, I need to get these finished.
I know. I am so bad. And it's easy. It's not like I don't know how. What the problem is my basement table got stuff on it that needs to be taken off. It's just a problem of have too much stuff and not enough places to store it. So it gets piled. And then it becomes a hindrance and it's all in the way. And then you can't do what you need to do because it's all in the way. You have to move it all. And you're like, whatever, I'll just go do this instead.
Yep. Isn't that? Yeah. It becomes a project just to get so you can do the project. Yeah.
Yes. And I've been better this year about keeping it cleared off. But in the last couple of months, it's really gotten out of control again.
Yep. Now that's why this extra table I have in my room that I can wheel around, I absolutely stick to. That thing stays cleaned off at all times. Unless you're working on it, it stays cleaned off. Exactly that, because then now I always have a surface I can work on without having to spend a half hour cleaning it up. Yep.
Yes. And I've let it get out of control. And then, of course, since I'm not in the basement and I don't see it a lot, that's been out of control for a while. And I've got to get back to it.
Okay. All right, Beth, the casket and what else?
I'm going to try to finish some things. So I have that 17th century where I'm at the wide whitework band, and I'm like, okay, I'd like to get that finished, and a few other things. I think that my goal this coming up year is to get some things done. The painted canvas that the lizard, did we start that this year? We started that last year.
No, we started this year. Yeah.
We did?
Mm-hmm.
We did? So way back at the beginning of the year.
Well, mine's almost done except for that bearded dragon head. So that's going to be one of the first things I try to get done in the new year, because he's so close. He is so close, that canvas is. So yeah, but my goal is to try to move some things out of my to-do pile to the to-done pile, like Portafette, which is, I thought, I can get this done. It's like, no, I'm not even halfway through with this silly thing.
You made a lot of progress, though.
Yeah.
Like you really have, and it's gorgeous.
It is beautiful, and it's kind of addicting stitching on that. What is it? 53/63 canvas linen. It's beautiful. It's fun to stitch on with the Schlosserfine. But yeah, I want to get some things done this coming up here instead of having such a huge whip pile. But I'm easily distracted too, so I'm going to sign up for the Cyber Pointers. I don't remember the lady. It's Beautiful Stitches is her website, but she's got it's on Congress cloth, and it's a little chair. And
I'm Anderson
curious.
Anderson Mays. What's her first name?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm curious about it. How did she make that chair? So it's like, okay, I've got to do that class. I've got to do it. That's why I asked Cindy if she was going to do it.
Anna Marie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Yep. She does some really good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting piece. It is a 3-dimensional chair.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I've seen it on. I think I've seen pictures on Instagram.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Because I think registration just opened up for it.
Yeah. It ends here at the end of the month, though, so I got to get on it.
Yep.
So what are you going to do next year, Gary? What's your plans?
Oh, I'm determined. I'm setting up the sampler that is going to our daughter.
Yeah.
That is actually her name. The girl who did it is Sarah Parr, and which is our daughter's maiden name with a H. So that one is about 2/3 done. So that's going on the big rack, and that is getting finished. I'm going to do what I have talked about. I'm going to set up a needlepoint, the Lady Mary from Gay and Rogers, and then this sampler, and then I've got my banding sampler that I'm working on. So I'm going to have 3 actually out and work my way through them. I am absolutely determined to make the time and get these things going. I wanted that Lady Mary Gay Ann Rogers design. I wanted to do that I keep putting it off and setting it aside, and I just love the colors on it. So that's where, at least for the first few months, that's where I'm going to focus. And I am determined to start moving some of these things along. And then I got a pile of other ones that I've collected all the stuff, and just kind of get a train moving here and accomplish something instead of getting frustrated. So, gonna do it. Yep.
Sounds good.
All right, we need to wrap up. Boy, what happened? Hour and 10 minutes. Holy smokes!
Oh wow! Wow.
All right. Well, and I thanks to everyone for listening all year long and joining us on the live shows. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to the sponsors. And then I would just personally say thanks to you 3 for all the shows you've done and the fun we've had. Really been just a great year of sharing needlework, and we've shared a ton of it. It's just been a great time.
Yeah. It is. Yes, it's always fun. It's always fun.
Lots of fun. Lots of fun. Good time.
Yep. So thanks to everyone for listening, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, whatever it is that fits you. But thanks to everyone, and we'll be back now on January 8th will be our next one. So thanks to everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.